You know the feeling, right? The mad dash to the gate, the impossibly long lines, the constant hum of announcements. We've all been there. The airport. It feels so familiar, but underneath all that stress and chaos, there's this hidden world, a system that's been meticulously designed to guide our every move. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how it all really works.
And just to give you an idea of the sheer scale of what we're talking about, look at this number. 2.7 million. That's how many people, on average, fly in the US every single day. It's like the entire city of Chicago just decides to pack up and leave day in and day out.
So you gotta ask, how is that even possible? How does a system that feels so completely chaotic manage to herd millions of us through these weird rituals to get us from one place to another? Well, the answer isn't just about big buildings and lots of planes. It's about understanding what an airport truly is.
To really get it, we need to wrap our heads around a key concept. The airport isn't just a place. It's what some experts call a non-place. And once you understand this, I promise, you will never see a terminal the same way again. So what is a non-place? It's a term from an anthropologist named Mark Auger, and it describes these spaces we just pass through. Think about a highway, or a generic hotel room, or, an airport. We don't live there. We don't really form meaningful relationships there. You're not a local, you're not a resident, you're just a passenger. It's all about temporary, anonymous transit.
And think about what that means for you when you're there. Your whole identity gets boiled down to what's on your ticket and your ID. You follow the signs, you do what you're told, you wait. It's like you've signed an unspoken contract. In exchange for getting on that plane, you agree to play by the rules, to become, as our source material puts it, a passive spectator instead of the main character in your own story. And the first big ritual where you really feel this is, of course, security. It's so much more than a simple checkpoint, isn't it? It's the great filter of the entire airport experience. It's the first moment you truly hand over control. You know, this whole process might feel like a frantic scramble, but it's actually a very precise four-step ritual. First up, the document check, proving you have the right to even be there. Then, step 2, divestment, where you literally take off your layers. Laptops out, liquids in a bag, shoes off. Step 3 is the scanner, that moment where you surrender completely to the machine. And finally, the awkward shuffle of reassembly, trying to put your life back together on the other side. It's a dance we all know by heart. But none of these steps just appeared out of thin air. They're a direct result of major historical events. You know, the simple metal detectors back in the 70s? Those showed up because of a huge wave of hijackings. The TSA, the ban on liquids, the full body scanners, that's all a direct fallout from 9/11. And now we're seeing the next phase with biometrics and AI. Every single layer of security is basically a scar left behind by a past trauma. Okay, so you've made it through the gauntlet. You're on the other side. And suddenly, the whole vibe just changes. You've entered the departure lounge. It's kind of like a gilded cage, right? You're free, but you're also trapped until your flight boards. This is the kingdom of waiting. And believe me, it is designed with incredible precision. You see, the airport is really two completely different worlds, and security is the border between them. Before security, the entire design is about one thing: throughput. Get people through the line as fast as possible. The feeling is total urgency. But the second you're through, the goal does a complete 180. Now it's all about something they call dwell time. They want to create a sense of managed calm, because the focus shifts from just moving people to commerce. And this chart, wow, it shows you exactly how that works in practice. A massive 40% of all that dwell time is spent on shopping and eating, and that is absolutely not an accident. The whole business model of an airport has shifted. The money they make from retail is now just as critical as the fees they charge airlines to land. Those long, winding paths that force you to walk through the duty-free shop, the fancy restaurants with runway views, it is all engineered to turn your boredom into their profit. In fact, airport retail planners have a special name for this. They call it the golden hour. It's that first 60 minutes right after you get through security. All that stress just melts away, you've got time to kill, you're feeling relieved, and that is the exact moment you are psychologically primed to open your wallet. The entire departure area is built to cash in on that feeling. So just when you've settled into this consumer paradise, a new voice cuts through the calm. Your flight is now boarding. This kicks off the final act of your airport journey. And what looks like a total mob scene around the gate is, you guessed it, another highly controlled process with its own competing ideas about how to do it right.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this slide basically decodes the madness at the gate. Most of us know zone boarding, right? It's easy for the airline, but it causes that giant crowd because everyone in Zone 4 stands up as soon as Zone 3 is called. Then you've got clever methods like Wilma, that's window, middle, aisle. It's actually proven to be faster since people aren't constantly climbing over each other, but it can be a little confusing. And of course, there's the random free-for-all method, which is kind of genius because it rewards you for being on time, but it can definitely feel a little stressful. Each one is this fascinating trade-off between pure math and messy human psychology.
So, after you've been filtered by security, tempted by the shops, and puzzled by the boarding process, what does it all really mean? What does this hidden world of the airport actually tell us about ourselves?
When you get right down to it, the airport is a mirror. It's a perfect reflection of our modern world. It shows our anxieties about security, our deep ties to consumer culture, our funny way of forming temporary little communities, and yeah, our willingness to give up a little control in exchange for being able to go anywhere in the world. It really is a whole city in miniature. So here's the deal. The next time you find yourself stuck in an airport, just remember these 4 things. 1, you're in a non-place, a space built for one thing and one thing only, transit. 2, your whole journey is basically you agreeing to surrender control for the sake of safety. 3, your waiting time is actually a super valuable product. And 4, all that chaos you think you see? Nope, it's almost always a carefully constructed illusion. And all of this leads to one final thought. With technology like facial recognition and automated everything becoming the norm, these processes we've talked about are going to change. Maybe the lines will vanish. Maybe the checkpoints will become invisible. So what's that future airport going to feel like? Will it be this seamless, easy utopia? Or will it be a place of even more subtle, invisible control? It's definitely something to think about on your next flight.